So we're running an internal audit of the Sweet Chicks doll factory, and the first thing that we'll need to notice is the waiting room. It's a simple waiting room. There are comfortable chairs for people to wait around, and there's even a water cooler, which is a nice touch. However, we noticed that there are no cups provided, and even if there were cups, assuming that you had to bring your own bottle perhaps, but if there were cups, there's also no trash bins, which is not ideal. This is a minor finding, a C finding that
No time
should
to
be
waste.
addressed.
The work is already waiting. But first, go to the locker room and put on your uniform.
What's good here is that they have handrails on this wide staircase, which is important that we hold the handrails to observe safety. And they have storage racks along the walkway, which is not ideal, and the storage racks are not used well. We can see that the boxes are not placed neatly. There's also empty spaces here, but we have boxes placed on the floor without any labels that would suggest why these products would be placed on the floor. So that is another, I'm afraid, minor finding that is against this factory. Locker room, and we have signage here on the assembly, generator, utility, and exit, which is good. Signage is important. However, we do not see signage for the locker room, which is right here. So there is missing signage. This is another minor finding that we must address. There's also nothing for what appears to be the workshop and fulfillment, despite the rooms clearly being here. So these signs must be added, and I also do not see any obvious exit signs, which is a major finding that's required to comply with fire safety. We see locker C5. Okay, this is also C5. C5. The lockers are not labeled to be differentiated from one another. How would you know which locker is yours? This is not a good practice, and this is another minor finding that we must address. Let's go to the work floor. Excellent. And no, the door are two-way doors. It opens the other way as well, as it opens outwards as well as inwards, and this is a problem because on neither side of these doors does it say doors may open outwards. So that is actually a major safety finding. We need to have such signage for safety, because imagine the door opening back outwards. Now let's inspect the workstation, which is nice and clean. You can see that the floor, although worn, is very clean. That is good. We have a wide open space, less chances of accidents, which is fine. Now let's inspect this area. We can see that outside of the immediate work area it is very dark, and this can cause accidents, so this is a poor practice. There should be some maybe wall lighting here. And the other problem that we have here is that if you would look at this rack, the racks are staggered. One rack is against the outer wall and another by the inner pillar, and this inconsistency can lead to accidents if somebody is rushing, because they would have to zigzag through this path, and that is not an ideal way to put the racks. Ideally, all the racks should be on one side. This creates a clear walking pathway. It's also better in the case of fire safety. So this is actually quite a poor layout. And here at the back we can see, what I like about the rear area is that it is extremely clean of what darkness I can see, which is very good, because usually people do not keep the corners and the back areas very clean. So side lighting, and we should not have these racks staggered. That's an important one. That's a minor finding, a C finding. And where does this lead? It's a stairs. It goes up presumably to that office or outside. Now this is a very, very big issue because we have some boxes stacked here. This is blocking the pathway. It would be a complete fire hazard, and it also, imagine if somebody comes from the outside and they come in, they would not be able to come down properly. This is a major finding, a B finding, and this is very poor manufacturing practice. Now let's go to the main workstation. We have a disposal chute that's clearly marked. Clear signage, very important. Keep doors closed at all times. Of course, we already done so because we are very responsible internal auditors.
Welcome to your workplace. Get used to seeing it a lot. Your job is to check the quality of all the dolls. A doll passes the check, put it on the conveyor on the right. A doll is broken or is missing something. Throw it in the trash. You can find the detailed instructions on the nearby table. Now get to work. Press the green button to start your shift.
The
I hope you
door
don't fail as miserably as the previous guy.
the door is broken or missing something. Okay, that's fair. And we have notes at the back. Now this is not good. This note here, it looks like somebody named K wrote this. And the problem with putting notes like this is that, you know, I've written this where I found it, but the problem with putting notes like this is that it's a loose note. It could fall on the floor. It could create a slip risk. Whoever is writing these notes, like K, should be spoken to. They need to be kept neatly so as not to create any workplace hazards. Imagine like this work table. This is very good, what we call 5S. It's well sorted. There is no debris or anything that could disrupt, unlike the note. The note has already fallen and I cannot even find it, which creates a slip risk. This is a safety issue, and this is exactly why we cannot leave notes lying around like this in a workplace environment. There is also a quality control instruction. That's good. It appears to be a typo at the top left. OC, no, the Q is just on the other direction. Okay, it's the font. QC department. Pick up a doll, inspect it. If it passes the check, put it in approval. If there's something wrong, throw it in disposal. Very clear. Now we put that back on the table. And then I like this. It's look carefully. All body parts present. All fingers present. No dents. That's a very good one. This sign is what we call an OPL, a 1-point lesson, and it's extremely well written because it's obvious. The English is good. Instructions are clear and there's graphics. So this is a very good example of an OPL. That's a good one. And now it looks like the production line is very simple. There is a entry, there is an exit. The machine, there is a stop process. Looks like it's an automated conveyor, so we can stop the process in case of emergency, which is an important one. That's good. And let's begin. Cannot use right now. So it looks like only one doll is allowed in this facility at one time, which is a good control process. That is well done. Let's pick up and inspect this at the work table. Now I do not see any defects. All fingers present. The doll looks good, and then we will put this on the approval line. It will hit the side. No, it will not. Excellent. And there's a green beep. I guess it is accepted. And then we will see this. This doll here has a missing arm. That is an obvious defect. We will not even need to continue inspecting. We would just put it for disposal. Actually, I just realized something. There's another green light here, but I just realized something. Why would we dispose that actually? We could just put it into rework. There is a big loss opportunity here that I think is not being picked up. We, instead of disposing the doll, we could have reworked it. We could have put it back earlier in the production line and simply added that arm. That is a big financial loss to the company, and that is what I would consider a critical finding, an A-level finding. I don't see why we should have disposed such a good product. You know, just put an arm onto it. That would have done. And this doll here, it looks like a clothing defect. We can see that the clothes are damaged. But everything else in the doll is also okay. Now, because the clothes are damaged, I need to put this back into rework. We can just change the clothes on the doll, but I cannot approve this for customers. I cannot dispose of it because that would be a waste of already a very well-made product. And it does not say here that clothing damage is an issue, because the OPL clearly says all body parts present, all fingers present, and no dents. This, I do not know if we consider this a dent. It's not technically a dent. So we will put this on the approval line.
The clothes of this doll are damaged. How did you miss such an obvious thing? Oh, I almost forgot to tell you
I did not miss it. I just did not miss it.
We have some special protocols that must be followed.
I did not miss it, sir.
One of these protocols is to keep all doors closed at all times.
Yes?
But seems like you already follow this protocol. Good job.
Of course. But I did not miss that detail, but in this case, we should add that to the OPL. So that is another, I would consider a major finding. That is a B finding. This OPL must be updated. I mean, it is intuitive that, you know, I've spotted it. The damaged clothes should not have been passed, but we need to add that to the OPL because new workers like myself earlier may be questioning that. And I noticed it turned red, so it appears that there's some sort of system in this room able to tell if we are disposing or approving correctly, in which case there's also a question of why we need to hire one head count to perform this role. Can we simply not add an automation that goes into approval or disposal based on how the system is detecting it in the first place? That is questionable. Now this doll, all limbs around, looks good. Let's put that into approve. Let's improve the productivity here by speeding up the process, of course. Excellent, and we continue. The system is working well. That is satisfactory. Things are in order. We put this in approve. Let's move it along. Excellent. Come on, another one. This has a very cute sweet chicks print. Oh, but the clothing is damaged. Now, although this is not on the 1-point lesson, I learned now that we need to dispose this. Once again, rework station, very important, huge financial loss for the company. Absolutely unacceptable. And what is this? This is clearly sabotage. So, and also the lights just flickered, which is poor maintenance. We need to talk to maintenance after this. We need to do a maintenance audit. But before that, look at this. One glass eye missing. The mouth is missing. There's literal nails on this thing. And there's no clothes. So, what has happened here is that there's a worker in the upstream line, or right before this stage, who has snuck in this product, hoping that it would be approved. This is what we call sabotage. And it is clearly malicious, and whoever did this needs to be immediately addressed by human resources. So things like this is absolutely unacceptable. That is an A finding, and we cannot allow this in the company, because then we risk somebody in the company is clearly being paid off by a competitor to bring out bad products in our company. We cannot allow that. So A finding, very serious finding, must be addressed immediately. What's happened to this doll? That is another piece. It's technically possible, it's absolutely possible that whoever is doing this sabotage is creating such a high number of disposal dolls. This is a lot of disposal dolls, and that is an unacceptable amount of financial loss to the company. All the good quality product only to be disposed, absolute ruin. Good product, let's move that along. Good product. Another, the eyes of this doll do not look correct. Now this is another questionable one, because I think that the color of the eyes are wrong. So the sourcing department has clearly bought the wrong product I mean, we need sourcing to actually do a QC on their end as well to make sure that this doesn't enter the production line, because once again, this is not on the 1-point lesson, and probably whoever is in the production line also does not see a problem. But I think that this is a wrong color, and I'm going to dispose it. Let's see. You see, I made the right choice. That's another item that we must add onto the OPL. So that's a double finding, a double B finding on the 1-point lesson. Now this one eye is missing. We do not even need to inspect this further. That goes into disposal. Close the bin so that pests do not rise from the disposal area. We cannot use this despite there being no dolls. What is the issue? There is clearly a prank being played because this doll was returned. So whoever is committing the sabotage, maybe they are also picking it up from disposal. That is unacceptable. That pranks actually reduce the productivity of a line a lot. It is not an acceptable behavior in a factory environment. It is not remotely professional, and it cannot be tolerated. Wait, let's take a look again. Okay, that works fine. I just realized that the eyebrows do not match the hair, but we've been passing these through, I think. And I think these are acceptable. So that's, you see, the 1 point lesson becomes very important because some things that we think may not be right actually are. So this is where we need to be very, very, very clear. This one, the clothes are damaged, so this goes into the bin. Okay, perfect. Let's move this along because we need to keep the productivity up in this factory. And that is a serious issue. Generator has shut down.
Lights downstairs and turn the damn thing back on.
There are emergency lights, so that is a very good practice. By the way, I dropped the door. You see, that's what happens when things like this happen. But what I like, the computer, I just realized it's also running on the auxiliary power. I guess it's needed for the PLCs. And these lights are also on, which is a very good one because that's very important for safety. We know that safety comes first, and now we have to, who opened the door? That is bad. Whoever opened this should have closed it. That's another finding. I will just keep that as a minor finding. And I see, is that a door at the end there? Who put it there? That you see, that's what happens when you try to put something on the ledge like that. It becomes, there's a fall risk. Whoever left it there, that is a C finding. Maybe a B finding because it can even cause a slip risk below. And I just realized, because I didn't step through this place earlier, there appears to be a lot of material on the floor. This is a slip risk. This is a C finding. We need to have such things cleaned up so that people do not risk falling. A fall risk is a very common way of incurring accidents in an industrial environment. We'll hold the handrail to ensure that we are safe. And we can see here that the signage is also... Oh, I missed somebody, but we can see here that the signage is also partially covered. This is very poor maintenance. We need to have this cleaned up. We have to make sure that's clean, and we can see here, you see corners are usually, and there's litter, of course. Let's pick up the litter for the company. You see, it's K again. K is clearly littering in the company, which is not an acceptable behavior, and we must talk to K immediately. And we see leakages. I do not know what these pipes are. Maybe these are sewage pipes, which in this case the leakages are a very, very, very bad problem, because this can create mold, it can create mildew, it can create all kind of health hazards, and of course slippage, not to mention slippage. It can attract pests. So this is absolutely unacceptable. Leakages need to be fixed immediately. This is an A finding. We will avoid the leakages because we don't want to bring contamination back to the plant. Generator is clearly over here, so let's go in. Okay, that's perfect. Let's place this at the corner on the boxes, and let's see. Okay, so very poorly maintained. I can see maybe that's why the generator has gone down, and there's also no OPL on the generator, no any instructions. I assume then we just need to switch these levers. That appears to have worked. Very good. And now there's an issue here. I just realized something, is that the floor, you may recall, was very grimy, but that appears to be gone. It appears that it isn't actually grime, but some sort of things that only appear under the special lighting, which is even worse. I suspect that this area is in need of very desperate sanitation.
What took you so long? Whatever. Your job is done for today.
The leakages have also appeared to be gone, so the leakages appear to be linked to the power generation, which is very which is very worrying, that both needs to be addressed at the same time. Clearly, what needs to be addressed is maintenance. The boxes once again stacked in a haphazardly fashion. That's another C finding. It must be addressed that the boxes are stacked neatly and kept neatly at all times. It's not even in a rack. They need a proper storage area for those boxes. Now, this I just realized because I wanted to inspect upstairs. This is another fire risk. Every single one of these blockages creates a risk in the factory. That is an A finding. Something as simple as boxes should not be blocking walkways. Absolutely unacceptable. And I just realized we should have closed the door. We are very responsible. It is locked in place. We cannot even move it, which is another maintenance issue. So these maintenance findings will definitely go against the maintenance team, I'm afraid. Very, very poor findings. So already in just one workday, we find that there's a lot of poor findings to be had in this work environment. So this report will be submitted.